Hello everyone, I'm Devin with TrueDevinGaming, and today we're doing another session of Blue Inside Fence 6. As you can see, the contested territory event is about to end, and we are in the lead, so we're going to do one last game before it's over. With me I have my brother, Sean, and yep, here's our last game for today, for this contested territory event. Hope you enjoy. Okay, let's see. I want to find a time attack. Here's one. There you go. So, like usual, time attacks start off. If you can get a hero early on, use a hero. So, starting off with here. We don't have much time before the event ends, so we have to beat this quickly.
Yeah, I'm still looking around to see which one I want to go for.
My thought is simple. It was just get a time attack. And preferably not a banner or relic tile one, because they would possibly be too long for it as well.
Time attack 1 through 56.
Is that the Winter Park?
Yeah.
That's the one I'm doing right now.
Alright. With Putsy?
Yep. Hell, you could try to beat my time then.
No.
See who actually wins it.
I have 5 minutes. I'm looking at every available tile we have.
Okay. See, I have my camel popping power. Need to get some more lead popping power though. But let's go the overpowered way. This never fails. Get this to white hot spikes, and then we'll have our lead popping power.
So if you don't finish it by that time, it's automatically going to kick you out of it, or what's the deal?
I have no idea.
Well, we're probably going to find out with me, because I do not have a time attack. And I think I'm going to do this least tiers 1 through 44. And it's the one with the tree stump in the middle, and it goes in like a loop back and forth.
Yep.
I'm going to do that one because I can use the engineer I could use the hero and then the engineer right away. And just keep going as quick as possible.
Okay.
I got 3.5 minutes, so I start immediately starting it. I'll start it before I even get the damn hero down. Save me an extra like 3 seconds, 4 seconds. It all counts.
There you go, round 40 is passed. We're done with Moab. We're gonna have a few Moabs after round 50 and after. We have a bit before then.
Here comes a big one!
That's round 50. Climb, 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 climb. There we go. Okay, there we go. Beat the time attack. 11 minutes, 15 seconds.
Well, jump into something else. I'm doing this,
Oh yeah, I still have 9 minutes left in the event.
Yeah, jump into something else if you have another ticket.
Yeah, look for another time attack. Oh, there is one. Good. I found a rounds 1 to 55 time attack.
There you go. I got 33 seconds and I'm just starting this thing up. Everything pops lead. That's beautiful, so I don't even have to worry about that right away. 1 through 44. I'll worry about camo eventually.
I have to get to round 55 with mainly using subs. This is a water one.
Alright, I'm in. Once it starts loading, load quicker.
Just going 3 twin guns with longer range. And an advanced intel as well. We need camo detection. Yeah, so let's go. There we go. We got camo detection now. And now to actually see if it's true with us having all our, all attacks popping lead. Nope. I did not activate that.
You didn't activate it?
Nope.
Mine's activated.
Yep, I messed up on that.
Well, I got 9 minutes. I think I should be good unless the waves start taking their sweet ass time.
There you go, plutonium reactor. Let's get this finished as quickly as we can now. Oh, did I just messed this up.
I'm doing pretty good on time right
Okay.
If I do finish this in time, I'm just going to jump into like a bigger one, like just because there's no way I'd finish it, just so we'll see if it counts it anyway, right?
Yeah. Oh, this is a close one. Okay. Finish this time attack in 10 minutes and 0.03 seconds. How much long do we have? 4 minutes. Hey, there's actually a... no, is that... Yeah, let's try that one. I'm not expecting this to work, but let's go. We have to beat round 65 as quickly as we can here.
About to be a 040 bomb shooter in a moment. Right before. Beautiful. Now I can work on the top stage. I just wanted to make sure I got that done first. For 40.
Let's keep doing this as quick as we can.
One down. Three. 44. Alright, we're done. Stuff. How much time do I have? Yeah, 4 minutes. I'm just gonna jump into a harder one. Alright, let's go into... What's something I can do? See if it counts it.
There we go. How much time is left right now?
4 minutes.
Jeez, this is actually going very quick then. Fast forward this one as much as I could. I did a time attack to round 65. Base clock is... I'm on round 65 waiting for all the balloons to finally pass. Clock is approaching 10 minutes now. There we go. 9 minutes 37 seconds for the race clock there. And this is what happens when it says that your time on contested territory is over. It shows your score is empty, your score to beat is empty, rewards are empty, and it doesn't even say victory. Everything is just empty, essentially. Yeah, I'll send you a picture of it on Discord. Don't see it. Yeah, so I'm guessing the event is over, at least on me, or at least for me.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you're done.
Yeah,
So I must have got just in time, I guess.
Yeah. So I'm currently on the main menu. So I'll wait for you to be off of that one, since you said we should go and see what the rewards are together. Well, we kind of know what the rewards are, but still. It's nice to see how quick those games could go. What round are you on, and what round are you going up to?
Going up to 58, I'm on 19.
Okay. You have a while then. But yeah, it won't give you any extra stuff for that. Let's see. So while we're waiting for you, I guess I'll just look at the advanced challenge. How do you beat leads by Ice30 630?
I lost. I didn't get it done. I picked one that was a little out of my range. Alright, so oh, it totally took it off there.
Yeah, it just disappeared for me as well. I guess I need to exit and join back in a century.
Alright, I'm backing out.
Yep. Gonna have a short bit of a black screen for a minute on the stream as we're reloading Bloons Tower Defense 6. Come on, load. There we go, finally. Just have to tell it to load out loud and it will start loading. Yeah, it doesn't have the awards up here, or rewards yet. Odd. Usually when these events end, as soon as they end, I get the rewards for them.
Yeah.
Well, that's just great. I was going to name this video Winning Contested Territory, but don't even get to see the rewards in it during the video.
Well, let's guess let's wait a little bit, right?
Yeah, guess. So, guess we'll just do the collection event for a small bit.
Yep, that's what I'm doing.
Axes at the ready.
I'm going to be doing What's the name of this map? I'm doing the brick one. The one with the road that goes around a wall of bricks. Doing that one on hard difficulty. It's supposed to get me
the spiral circle ones, and I'm doing it on medium just so I could do another one on medium.
Yep.
Because I still needed like 20, something like that. So I'm gonna pick the ship. Comes to it.
I really wish we could just have that race event button at all times.
I agree with that.
Ah, the power!
Oh, I said I was doing this on hard mode. I'm actually doing this on Magic Monkeys only difficulty, so or mode instead.
There you go.
Since total this one game should give me 27 for the collection event.
Ah, the power!
Okay, so I have a question for you.
Yeah,
Ninja Monkey or Druid?
Druid.
Okay.
I like Druids better. It's weird, Ninja Monkey and Balloon Tower Defense 5 was my go-to. In 6, I don't really care for Ninja Monkey as much in this one.
Understandable.
I don't know why that is, but...
Oh, the simple answer. There's something that does everything it does better. That's what you just said.
That's actually very true.
Middle path, you can support all the other ninja monkeys, like, okay. But you could also have the same exact thing happen with druids, and you only have to do 6 of them. And yeah, they actually have much higher, that's a higher popping power version as well. For that section. And it's like, how about top path, where he just tosses a huge amount of projectiles. Well, that's just Super Monkey.
Yeah.
Just in general. Let's see what else is there. Then, or you can also add in, what's it called? The Monkey Ace Operation Dartstorm, doing the same exact thing, but over a much larger range. And it shoots out missiles that are extra strong against, or just very good against the Moabs, so yeah, it kind of loses to that. And then the other option that goes and fights against, with just tossing out a huge amount of projectiles, the boats do the same exact thing. Just do a 3 or a 320 or 420, and it'll do the same exact thing as the top path Ninja Monkey. It's like, why? Why use that one? Then it's like, okay, maybe the bottom path, because it throws sticky bombs onto the Moabs. And then if you go to the final one, the tier 5 version, well, it'll show the sticky bombs very quickly and constantly across the entire map. It's like, okay, that's great and all, but you have the bomb shooter's middle path ability that shoots out attacks as strong as the sticky bomb constantly,
Victory.
and when you actually use the ability, which refreshes extremely quickly, it kills, well, it person kills everything much stronger than the sticky bombs.
Yeah.
And even without that, if you want the extreme range that the tier 5 Ninja Monkey gets for the sticky bombs, just toss out a middle path sub. Middle path monkey sub, and it'll get that same extreme range for the same exact type of attack, but actually quicker. And then you go like, okay, that's all good and all, but Ninja Monkey starts off with camo detection. But so many things start off with camo detection or can get camo detection extremely easily. It feels like that's not really worth it anymore.
Alright, bomb shooter or Dartling gunner?
For me, that's definitely bomb shooter because that's literally my favorite tower.
Oh, not bomb shooter. What am I doing? The one, it's like a bomb shooter. Mortar monkey. Sorry, mortar monkey or Dartling gunner.
Okay, I'll say this. You asked me this 6 months ago, I would have said Mortar Monkey is one of my least favorite towers of all time. And I actually did like Dartling gunner. I'll tell you this now. I really do like the Mortar Monkey after I decided to, try to get myself a million experience with the Mortar Monkey.
Yeah.
It's very good. Particularly, the tier 4s for it are very good. The early stuff for it is shit. But, yeah. That pretty much sums it up for me. The tier 4s for the Mortar Monkeys is what just makes a win for me on there. You have it that can remove camo detection, or the camo property off of balloons. You have it that can be shooting extremely fast in one spot, and when you hit the ability, it even goes faster to the point that it just deletes a Moab in its one spot. You have it that it just literally causes such a huge explosion that you can literally place like 10 balloons or 10 towers within the size of its explosion. It's like, yeah, Mortar Monkey is actually very good.
I'm on 51 of 60. But I don't think I need to put anything else out on here to be able to beat this. I'm doing an easy map too, but
Yeah.
Getting stronger.
Trying to think of a good one.
The mighty fall.
there might be a chance I get a tier 5 by 60 here. Tier Moab Eliminator. Against tier 60 by himself probably would be enough. Alright. Done with that. Got my 9 little thingies. I gotta get 9 more. So I'll just go to medium on a normal map or even easy on a hood. Just the medium.
Okay, I think I got one.
Alright.
Okay, what's Blue Gunner versus Tack Shooter. Cause I know those two, you really like both of them for completely different reasons.
I was about to say, I do like them both. When I use a glue gunner, I only use one
Yes,
path.
Mayor?
So, the thing is, the other path I really don't know what's different. And then Tack Shooter, I actually am starting to like multiple paths of the Tack Shooter. Actually, I like all the paths of the Tack Shooter, to be honest.
Getting stronger.
I will go Tack Shooter just because I like all 3 paths.
Okay.
I don't know if that's correct or not, but the top path of the glue gunner is pretty sick.
Okay, for me...
What do you say?
For me, I'll say like this. I like 2 paths on both of them. I like the top path and the bottom path for both. The top path glue gunner, oh, that is great for popping balloons very quickly. That gets rid of... That just causes huge amounts of damage that you wouldn't expect from glue gunner.
Yeah.
Then bottom path. If you target too strong, it will slow down everything. Every single Moab. To the point that everything else can deal huge amounts of damage. So I would usually do, if I do bottom path, I could do a 0-2-5. With it doing no damage, but it slows things down so much. With that being said, now Tack Shooter, I really like the top path. It is great. It's just as if you give it camo detection, it can wipe out everything. But then you get the bottom path. You give that camo detection and the ability to pop leads, and it wipes out everything. Oh fuck. You know, I'm going to press continue because I shouldn't have lost
you
that.
ended up losing?
Because I went and let a rush go through while I was pressing the ability for summoning Phoenix. And this Phoenix didn't come out quick enough. My reaction was too slow. Okay, so there's no rush so far. Where's that rush that killed me? Oh, there it is. There you go. Now that's been dealt with. Okay, but anyway. So I like top path and bottom path for both of them. A huge amount. But then it comes to, okay, what about the middle path? Well, I can see myself using the middle path for the Tack Shooter once in a while. I don't ever see myself using the middle path for the glue gunner. And I know I've tried using them before. I just don't care for it.
Yeah.
It glues everything, but doesn't slow anything enough or doesn't pop any of them enough. It just glues them so it slows them a small bit. Like, nah. It's not worth it, in my opinion, for that. But when it comes to the tack, or the middle pass tack shooter, well, that one still isn't really worth it, in my opinion. But at least it does a decent amount of popping. And if you use the ability when a very powerful Moab is on top of the tack shooter, every single one of the blades that it shoots out hits that Moab and causes huge amounts of damage there. So it does have its use, in my opinion. So I'd go more towards that. Okay, we're going to choose... Let's do a random Instant Monkey. 020 Mortar Monkey. 220 Spike Factory. That's actually very good. Okay. Yeah, but I'll go with Tack Shooter as well, so we can agree on that one.
Dread Pirate Brickle at your service.
Let's see, gonna do Peninsula on Apocalypse difficulty.
Dread Pirate Brickle at your service.
Let's see, is there another one I can come up with?
Orders.
Let's see, Engineer Monkey.
In order of the primaries. Give me last place and up. And don't count tier 6. Because not all of them have tier 6s. We're going through tier 1 through 5. What is the best monkey to use? Like, just, what's the worst to the best in the primaries?
Okay.
What do you rate as your worst? And I'll do mine also.
Okay, for me, my worst for the primaries would be the Boomerang Monkey, in my opinion.
It's between, because I'm taking away to tier 6, it's between Ice and Boomerang. I'm gonna lean towards Boomerang just because I don't. Oh fuck, I just randomly put out a Boomerang. Didn't mean to do that.
Well, that just explains your reasoning. Your reaction to placing out a Boomerang is, oh fuck. Didn't want to do that.
Yeah, I'll give it to you there. So, there you go. So.
And then you're...
So yeah, I'll go with Boomerang, and my next will have to be Ice, because it's neck and neck. Because the rest of them, the other 4, no, it's other 4? Yeah, the other 4 I think are all very good. Those 2, it's like, eh. Whatever.
Okay, then this could be a bit odd for it. I'm gonna put the glue gunner next.
Ooh.
Okay, I'm gonna actually type... Let me pause this for a second so I can type down my order of them first off. Let's see. Okay. I got them in order now. So I can remember them for me.
Alright, so you're going, I'm going ice, you're going...
Glue gun
For
is for
second
second worst. Okay, I'll explain. First, I'll explain why Boomerang was the worst for me. I rarely, if ever, use the middle path, and if I do, I don't go past tier 3. I rarely, if ever, use the bottom path, but if I do, it's solely for stopping mobs a bit. But then the really good way of stopping mobs it offers is way too expensive, so I don't ever use the tier 5 version.
A toast! Attack me hard! We're hit!
Alright, and go to the why do you have blue gunner next.
Oh, this, I just fucked myself in this. I think I just lost this one. All my towers just kept on popping the regrow boons and letting them go by. So they just kept on regrowing and just... Yeah. Let's restart that.
Dread Pirate Brickle at your service!
That's the reason why I have glue gunners next. But I already explained what I think of the glue gun. Top path is very good for popping. Bottom path is very good for slowing down balloons, but I never use the middle path. But I've already explained that I think of the Tack Shooter as just more useful, just from the middle path being better in it. That should be telling you, literally every one of the other towers, I use at least 2 of the paths a lot, and a third one better than, or more often than the glue gunner. Okay.
Alright, so...
I understand the reasoning for you saying Ice Monkey, and that's mostly because you don't use it. That's number one reason for it. You've said it plenty of times.
Oh, I got 220 Monkey Buccaneers.
Okay.
Not bad. I'm in tier 3 of my tiers.
Okay, so what is your third to last place?
Treasure!
Give me 1 second. I'm gonna start up this next game so I can be staring at them while I talk to you about it. My next one would be the, is it really this one? Yeah, I think it's gonna be. I think it's, no, it has to be Glue Gunner. It has to be Glue Gunner. Yeah, my Glue Gunner is the next one, which Glue Gunner has a jump on the ice, but number 4 and of the 6, 4 and 3 are close.
Okay.
But it's Glue Gunner is going to be my 4.
Okay. Can you explain your reasoning for that one? Do not mention the towers that's better than it.
I use the other 3 I think are better, and I use more paths on the other ones. That one I strictly use 1 path. I strictly use 1 path. It's out there for 1 purpose usually, and that's usually to deal with some leads and some of the acorn ones, ceramic ones.
Okay.
So that's really its big thing. My next one...
Oh, I have to say what mine too.
toast!
My number
Okay,
4
yeah.
is a Dart Monkey.
So which one do you said the Ice Monkey, or you use Ice Monkey, so I can't really argue with it because I don't use it. So Um,
Okay, so I'll explain the Dart Monkey then.
yeah.
The reason why I'm putting the Dart Monkey as the number 4 spot is because of all the... I know I mentioned like, okay, all the ones above this I use at least 2 paths of it, and I think of the 3rd path a bit better. I can say kind of the same thing for the Dart Monkey. I like the middle path slightly better than the Glue Gunner's middle path. I'll go ahead and use it to a very certain point, but not too much. But the thing is, the top path I'll use whenever I need, whenever I'm using a area that is just like a corridor, where there's walls on either side and can have the Juggernaut ball bounce back and forth. I'm like, okay. But it really isn't about the top path or the middle path at all. The reason why the Dart Monkey is above the Glue Gunner and the Boomerang Monkey for me is because the bottom path is just that fucking good. And with Monkey Knowledge, you can have 2 tier 5 bottom paths for it. So I'm like, it just is a great thing for there. But again, I don't use the middle path nearly enough for it to beat the 3 towers above it. And I don't use the top path enough to beat the 3 towers above it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my reasoning for that one.
Okay. My next is going to be the Dart Monkey.
Okay.
So I'm not too far.
So number 3, Dart Monkey for you.
Yeah. And the reason why it passes any other ones is just because it just 2 of its paths are pretty damn good. The 3rd one is very expensive, so I never really get to use it unless I'm going for a Paragon. Which we're counting out Paragons on this, but, so I just would never really use it. And give me 1 second. Alright, there we go. Then my next, well, not next, but, I definitely think that the other 2 that are remaining in my list just are clearly better, and I like all 3 paths really well at this point.
Yeah. The other 2 that are left for you are the Tack Shooter and the Bomb Shooter.
Correct.
Yep.
And I just haven't, and the ones behind are 2 of them one I don't use enough, so I really don't know it to the level you know it. And then the other 2, I think there's leaps and bounds. This one's better.
Okay, yeah.
Alright, yours?
Okay,
Next
my
thing?
number 3 place will be the Ice Monkey.
Alright.
So that means we're going to have the same top 2, at least first place and second place are going to be the same for us, so they could be switched. But yeah, my number 3 is going to be the Ice Monkey. Simple reason for it, you place an Ice Monkey, and you place just top path 2 times. And now you have a tower that can pop both camos and leads. And then, I believe, let me just check this right now while I have the chance. Let's see. If you go to tier 4 on the top path, it doesn't just pop leads and camos, it actually can hit Moabs, which not something you used to expect from Ice Monkey. It actually makes them brittle so that they receive extra, or all balloons that are frozen receive extra damage from other towers while they're frozen. And they all lose their camo properties. That is fucking huge. And that's just the tier 4 top path. When you go to tier 5, it actually freezes the top, or it freezes Moabs, causes huge damage to them. You can actually completely crush, if you do a top path Ice Monkey up to tier 5, it can take out DDTs. And that's extreme. Not something you expect from it.
No.
Then let's go to the bottom path, because of course top path and bottom path is what we always think are the best ones usually. The bottom path, it turns the Ice Monkey into just a monkey holding a fucking ice gun. That gives it a huge range, like just extreme. The tier 2 ability for bottom path lets it freeze balloons that are already frozen, meaning those balloons will never fucking move. Ever again. They're just there for good. Until they're popped, they're there. That's extreme thing. The tier 3, yeah, it adds, or it makes it so that it shoots bombs with or ice bombs with a gun, and increases its range by a huge amount. Then you go to the tier 4, and then now every balloon that it freezes now gets icicles onto the frozen balloons that pop other balloons, making just even more, more popping, just constantly. I should mention tier 3 top path. When the frozen balloons pop, they actually shoot out ice shards that pop other balloons as well. Think like the frag upgrade for the bomb shooter. Essentially has that. Now, then you go to tier 5 bottom path, and I'll just read it. Shoots huge icicle spikes that do huge damage to Moab class balloons and freezes them. That sounds great and all, but it's like, okay, but that just deals to Moabs. But then you remember, go to top path 2, you do this at 205, and you're able to do this against leads and camo, so you can actually have this guy constantly shooting extremely huge damage and freezing DDTs again. This guy can, top path and bottom path both can absolutely crush DDTs. Just like that. And everything else, essentially. And then we go to middle path. Which, yes, this is probably the weakest one of them. By the smallest margin ever. Because just the first tier makes it attack faster and freezes for longer. So keep balloons frozen for a longer period of time. So if you have if you go a 022, you can actually really keep balloons there forever, just like that, because it keeps them frozen long enough for refreeze to activate very quickly.
Yeah.
Then the tier 2 freezes through 2 layers of balloons, so just extra pop power. It's like, okay, that's nice and all. Then comes the interesting ones. Tier 3 increases appear, so it goes through more than just 2 layers, and it gains an aura around it, a area effect ability, not even actual ability, just it gains an area effect where all the balloons that get in that area are slowed. It actually slows down balloons as well, just tier 3. It's like, okay, that's fine and all, but it's still not enough to write home about yet. Then we go to tier 4, and it adds finally the ability, the snowstorm ability. Freezes all regular balloons on screen. Every single balloon. Except for Moabs. Briefly freezes white balloons, zebras, and camos. So this one can even, without camo detection, can freeze camos. And even though it's Ice Monkey, it can freeze whites and zebras. And then, it also slows the Moab class balloons. And since it can see camos, it can slow the fast DDTs. That's another huge thing once again. But that's just a build. Then we go to the last one. The last one, tier 5. Absolute Zero. Ability is so cold it freezes all regular balloons for longer, including white zebras and camos, slows Moab class balloons for longer, and greatly increases the attack speed of all other ice monkeys for the duration. If you combine these 3 monkeys together, if you combine all 3 paths, just like have them right next to each other, you can actually get all the way up to round 99 with 3 towers. With just those 3. That's how overpowered they are. Well, actually, you do need to deal with a bit of the whites still, because the only time you can deal with the whites and zebras is with the actual abilities. So you'd probably need 2 or 3 of the ice monkeys in middle path. But it is, when I compare it to all the other paths we mentioned, or all the other towers we mentioned so far, it's the most overpowered. It just does everything I want it to. And it's cheap. There's nothing to add.
Treasure.
Right, so my next is so now
Number
we're down to
2.
final 2. And we both have the same final 2.
Yep.
I'm going to go Tack Shooter. I love the top path. I really am starting to like the middle path a lot. The bottom path I think is the worst of the 3, but it's still nice. But for a tier 5, you would think a tier 5 would be something that it could like take on. Like what is it? BAD's the red one.
Yeah. No, that's BFB.
BFB. You would think it would be able to take out a BFB pretty good by itself, and that tier 5 would have an issue with that.
Which one?
But the bottom path for Tack Shooter.
The tier 5 can take those out.
The tack zone.
Yeah, it can take those out.
It has an issue though. It won't. It could easily let him go past if you're depending on the map. It's one of those that it's a straight line pass. You legitimately have to find it. Next thing is it always shoots in a circle. I'm just trying to tell you why it's not number 1.
Yeah.
The difference that, like, I would say 2 out of 3 paths are incredible, and one of them is good. My number 1 obviously has 3 incredible paths. None of them are bad.
Did I fucking lose this again? Yep, that's good.
So, I'll let you jump into this one. I'm assuming we have the same 2 and 1. So I'll let you jump into it now and see if there's anything you want to add on to number 2 before we get into 1.
Yeah, you're right. My number 2 is the Tack Shooter as well. Obvious one. Top path. I'd actually say of the 3 paths, middle path is my least favorite. Top path is my second. Is the middle favorite, and bottom path is by far the favorite without a doubt. Just because it's just that powerful. It attacks so quickly, so much. Middle path is extremely powerful as well, and top path is extremely powerful as well. All of them are extremely powerful. The only reason I would say that it isn't number 1 is because of the fact that it, like you said, it shoots in a circle. So anytime you cannot have balloons on both sides, it is wasting its potential there. If you get a path that has corners or actually pretty much a circle spot that you can place it into, it is perfect for that. Hell, but it is not good for a lot of a lot of maps. But I will say the thing I like the most with it is you can put down a bottom path Tack Shooter. Here, how about this? Let's put down 3 towers on the screen. We're going to put down a bottom path Tack Shooter. We're going to put down, it'll be a 205 Tack Shooter, the Tack Zone. We're going to put down a Monkey Village, a 420. Not going to do 5-2 because we do not want it getting any pops. And we're going to put down a Alchemist, a 500 Alchemist, but have it so it's off the screen and only can boost up the ability of the Tack Shooter. You put that down and you put it on screen, on the right map, it can beat round 100. It can beat actually from round 1 to 100 by itself, like that. As the only popping tower, beat all that by itself. It's just that level of boost. That is how powerful it can be. And that's not having the final boost of the tier 5 monkey village for it, or even using the engineers to boost it up as well. And that's just the bottom path. The top path, it comes inbuilt with the ability to pop leads. Though I will say my issue with it is it feels kind of expensive to get to it, because you go to top path, it's like, okay, 1, 2, that's good. But the third upgrade, it gives you ability to pop leads, but it doesn't have enough tax out, and it's not attacking fast enough yet. It feels like the a tier 3 top path is a bit too weak, and it feels like you're literally just buying that to get to the tier 4, and the tier 4 is actually the one that does what you want. So when you think of it, it's like the tier 4 costs the amount of the tier 3 and tier 4 together, is what I think of it like. Because I don't ever want to stop on tier 3. I always want to go to tier 4 to actually have it work. And that's probably the one issue I have with that. Oh, and the top path is kinda expensive. But middle path, I'm fine with stopping on tier 3, or tier 4, or tier 5. And middle path is very, very cheap as well. So I would be fine with doing middle path pretty much any time. I'm fine with doing bottom path anytime. Top path, I have to stop, but I cannot stop on tier 3. I have to go to tier 4, and then I have to wait a very long time before I can get tier 5. It has some issues, but it's still better than the other 4 that I've mentioned so far.
Alright, and then the last one.
Bomb Shooter.
Obviously, Bomb Shooter. And this is without counting in tier 6. We counted in tier 6, I would say Dart Monkey would be number 1, just because it could take you to 120, 140 plus by itself, not like these other ones could. Except for maybe Boomerang has a shot, but the thing is, it's not as good at any time as the Dart Monkey. So Bomb Shooter through the beginning all the way to the end, tier 1 through 5, every single one of them is amazing. Legitimately, everything about it. You could go bigger bombs, fast reload, extra range, all great. Tier 2 heavy bombs, missile launcher, frag bombs, all great. Really big bombs, Moab Mauler, cluster bombs, all great. Loon Impact, very underrated, very great. Moab Assassin, incredible. Recursive Cluster, great and cheap. Actually, none of them are expensive either. For tier 4s, you're getting 3,800, 3,400, 3,000. That's cheap for tier 4s. Then tier 5s, every last one of them are amazing. Like, there is not one thing from all 15, there's not one of them I don't like. Every last one of them do great. I don't think there's the only thing that doesn't make this possibly the best one, other than having a tier 6, is camo. That is it. Those are my two only flaws. Is it doesn't have a tier 6 yet, which I'm pretty sure when it gets a tier 6, they have to try to blow it out of the park, because it's a beast. What do you think about all that? Is there much else to add to that, or is that really good as we're getting to on that?
Here's one thing I'll say. I'll agree with everything you said most everything you said. Say this, bottom path, I would say I do have one issue with it. The one issue I have with it is that when tier 5 comes, or using tier 5, I get it, I'm like, okay, this is good. but it's very, very rare that I actually use the effect of the tier 5 bottom path. Because that one is, hey, if a balloon gets by and you lose a life, it starts bombing the entire screen. It's like, yeah, that's great and all, but I've had a few times where a balloon gets by and I instantly die before that ability takes effect. And that's the issue. Is that if someone's getting by me and I have tier 5 bomb shooter already, then it's gonna need to be, or it's gonna be powerful enough that it will go ahead and kill me in one go usually. And yeah, that isn't exactly a fun way to go. But what did I have the wrong key about?
I legitimately, I have nothing against any of it. Legitimately none of them. Yeah, I mean, we would actually have to be really strict on them to find bad things about anything about the bomb shooter.
Oh yeah,
And
I
it's
do
crazy
have
because
one. I do say I have one other bad thing to say about it.
What?
When you start off with the bomb shooter, if you start with it, it is slow and all of its popping power only does one layer at a time. It could pop up multiple balloons at once, but once you get up to greens or yellows, you're already having issues with just a bomb shooter. You cannot, but you need to actually get to other things or other towers or multiple bomb shooters out by then. It's irritating with that.
Yes, my y'all.
It is regrettable for me to say that, but bomb shooter, oddly enough, it used to be one thing I think of as like you can get it immediately in the previous games. This one, like, nah, bomb shooter is one you wait for a small bit, so you can immediately get it to a tier 2 or tier 3. That's just how I feel about the bomb shooter now.
Yep.
So I will say there is some negatives on it. There's some negatives on all of the different primary monkeys. Or primary towers.
I'm actually using the ice monkey a little bit just for the hell of it. Got all the tier 5s out. I'm trying to get its XP up. This is how little I've used the tier monkeys. I have all the tier 5s, but it only has 81k XP. And it was at 70k before I put them all out there. So that's what it tells you.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna be attempting to using some more ice monkeys, so I have a better judge on it.
Yeah. Oh, here's my suggestion. If you're not going for tier 5s, try out 402 and 204s. Just try out those in particular.
So the middle path is...
The middle path is still good, but it's not really a support one. It's not... the early middle path is kinda weak, while the later middle path is very good. Once you get to tier 3 middle path, it is good, but it's a support style. And once you get to tier 4, now it's good and it does a lot of shit. Okay, since we went over primaries, want to go over another one of these sections?
Yeah, you pick the next section.
We'll leave
Actually, I would just say we'll leave military to last because there's 7.
Yeah, I was going to say leave the longest for last. We'll go with the shortest one next.
Alright. And you'll start first, because I started first in this last one.
Okay, so just for everyone to know, we're doing support now. And the 4 towers that are there are the Banana Farm, the Spike Factory, the Monkey Village, and the Engineer Monkey. Those are the 4 tower options.
We're not counting the tier 6s, so the Engineer tier 6 is not going to count in our judgment.
Oh, that wouldn't change my judgment in the slightest.
Well,
I just like it right now. Because it... Okay, before we get into that, I have to say, the Engineer Paragon is by far, in my opinion, the Paragon I like the least, or rather I dislike it. It might be good at popping, it might be good at that. But Jesus Christ, does it defeat the purpose of Paragons. And what I mean by that is... Oh, come on. They're about to go ahead and lose some lives here.
What, 220,
No, camo lead.
Oh. I got it up to 86,000. Now I'm gonna put this. Beat level 100. I did it. 80 on the easier. Okay, 16 of 40, so I need to try to get 24. See what I can get 24 on.
Okay, so
33.
The Engineer Paragon. I'll say this. The Paragons, every single one of them, the purpose of the Paragon is to combine the aspects of all three paths of the Paragon into one ultimate version of the tower. That's the point of them. Now that sounds great. That happens with every single tower, or every single Paragon. You go with the Dart Paragon, and it looks like it's mainly focused on the top path, but it has the camo detection of the bottom path and the speed of the bottom path, and all of the juggernaut that it shoots out are, well, they are plasma versions. They can go ahead and deal huge damage constantly. They are not just standard metal or balls of metal with spikes. They actually are magic-based attacks as well. Well, they're not just magic-based because they actually pop purple, but they deal damage to everything. There's an aspect of every one of the towers in it. There. You go to the Boomerang Monkey, and when it attacks, its attacks goes ahead and, the Boomerang Paragon, its attacks prevent most Moabs from moving forward. It deals extra damage to Moab class balloons. It has, it's constantly throwing boomerangs as fast as it can, and it has glaives that circle around it constantly as well. It has all the different aspects of the different towers. Go to the Buccaneer, and it's sending out planes constantly. It has the claw ability of the middle path, and it boosts other what's it called? It boosts other Buccaneers with the bottom path. It has a ability of all paths. Then you go to Ninja Monkey, and same exact thing. It's constantly throwing shurikens at huge speed like the top path, a huge amount of them like the top path. It boosts other Ninja Monkeys in its radius, and the bottom path, it deals extreme extra damage to the Moabs. That's from the bottom path, with it having attacks specific for Moabs there. Every one of them has the aspect of all of them. But then you go to the Engineer Paragon, and it's not an Engineer Paragon. It has nothing from the middle and it has nothing from the bottom path. It only has the top path. Instead of being its normal thing of the Paragons where it just grabs from every path, it grabs from the top path, and then it grabs from other towers in general. One of the towers it grabs from is the Dartling Gunner, one of the towers it grabs from is the Bomb Shooter, and the other one it grabs from is the Super Monkey. It's like, okay, it is powerful, but it isn't a Paragon. It's not celebrating or showing off all the power of the Engineer. It's showing off the power of everything that isn't the Engineer. And then just have the Engineer shoot as well with his nail guns. Which that is powerful by itself.
I think you got off track on this one.
I was just complaining about the Engineer. I said doing that before we start the...
okay.
Yeah, I wanted to complain about that for sure. Okay, now on to what powers I think, which one is my favorite of each of the supports.
Cool. So starting at 4.
Okay. Number 4. This is no surprise in the slice. The village. You expect me to say engineer after all that shit, right?
No, because of the bottom path of the engineer.
Oh, actually,
And then the deconstruction also is great, and the ultra boost. Like there's some good things about the engineer.
yeah.
There is. And I learned about it because I did not have the engineer more than 100k, and then the tier 6 came out. So guess who played like 15 straight games with only using engineers?
Yeah.
So I got to figure out all the ins and outs of the engineer. So I definitely know engineer is phenomenal. It really is. It is a great one.
Well, my reasoning for it is
Village.
the village. When it comes to it, I think every single path is amazing. That's telling you something. Every single in the past of every single one of these powers, I'm going to say is amazing. But the issue with it is each one of them, I have a caveat that like I will use it in just some circumstance. First big issue with it is that neither the top or middle or bottom pop any balloons. So they are essentially, you have to make sure you have extra money to spend before you can actually get one of them. Same with honestly the top path. It doesn't pop any balloons until tier 5. So you have to have excess money for it. The other three, it either pops so it's worth the money immediately, you don't have to have excess money, or it produces money. So you definitely don't need excess money to provide you more. But the village, it's an investment for supporting other things, and you have to have the money to invest it. So it's starting off to get a village requires you to be in a decent place. It cannot be used when you're struggling, essentially, in my eyes. And that's already an issue. Then, each one of the paths for it is very particular into when you can use it. The top path, you can use it if you want to get some pops with your tower, but besides that, the top path is only for primary towers. So if you're doing military only, which is one of the game modes, or magic monkeys only, which one of the game modes, which I guess they're not, or the support towers aren't even there, so you couldn't use the monkey villages. But if you're focusing on using one of those, or if rather you're not using primaries, the top path is completely useless. Where you can go up to the first and second upgrade for it, but besides that, the rest of it is useless for that. Then you go, let's try middle path. Middle path is always useful, but it is expensive there.
Yeah.
The middle path, the first upgrade is worth it immediately. The second upgrade is worth it, but it's already 1,700 on easy mode. And that's easy mode, so it's just upgrade number 2. Upgrade number 3 is 8,000 on easy mode, and it just keeps on going up and up and up. It's way too expensive for what it does, but it does everything very well. I'll say middle path is definitely my favorite path for it. Then bottom path. This is a path I think you never even use, to be honest. But the way it works, you need to have a huge amount of money, and you must be going for even a huge... Yeah. You need to...
I've used it before.
Yeah, I know you used it before, but I feel like you never do use it. Because why would you?
Yeah, I don't go for 200 runs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
If I did, then yeah, I understand it.
What was it called? Let me put out monkey banana farmers so I don't have to pick those up anymore.
Jesus.
But yeah,
Good job.
the bottom path, it gives you early on. It gives you a discount on a lot of things. So it's like, okay, that's nice. But that's for the early towers. Like, you have to be questioning: is what you're placing near that tower worth enough or cost enough for you to actually be buying that discount and actually saving money with it? You have to question that. Then you go to, let's see, tier 3. I have to actually read what tier 3 does get. Monkey Town. All monkeys within the radius of the Monkey Town get extra cash per pop. I'm like, okay, that's good. But it kind of conflicts with what tier 4 and tier 5 is. And once you get to a tier 3, you know what you're going for. You're going to focus on that path. So this one is for you having the tower surrounded by balloons or towers that pop. But once you go to tier 4 or tier 5, its purpose is you're surrounding the village with towers that produce money. That defeats the purpose. They contradict each other. They defeat the purpose of each other. There are very few towers that produce money and do pops. But with that being said, the ones that produce money and do pops, you really shouldn't be putting it around a monkey city or the monkey village's 4th tier. You shouldn't be putting them there. You should be putting pretty much only farms around that. And then the last upgrade, Monkeyopolis. That is a great one, and its standard cost is only 5,400. That's very fucking cheap. But its cost increases with every single banana farm you have around it, and then it absorbs all the banana farms around them. But that's one of the issues. It absorbs all those banana farms, makes it into one, and all the income goes into it. So you can end up with a shit level Monkeyopolis that barely gives you any money, or you can end up with an amazing one. So you could end up with wasting your tier 5, or you can end up getting a great tier 5. But you get a great tier 5 if you surround it completely with monkey villages. Or not monkey villages, banana farms. It's worth it. It's good, but it's also bad, and it's also very expensive, but it's also very much worth the money. It is a very odd situation, but I could only suggest ever going for a bottom path if you're trying to get a Paragon, because otherwise you really don't need the extra huge amount of money that you'd be going for, and you wouldn't want to invest that huge amount of money to get it as well. So yeah, all 3 paths for this one are used for very specific situations, in my opinion.
Well, I don't disagree with you. I'm going with that as my last one also. The engineers the other 3 are just so good. Other 3 are just so good.
Yep.
And the village is also extremely good. It's just the odd man out. It's just how it goes. Obviously, you just went in hard description, so I'm just gonna leave it short and sweet, basically.
Okay. Well, at least tell me which one of the which of the paths is your favorite and least favorite of it.
Camo is my favorite.
Middle path? Okay.
Because, yeah, just because. That's about... Actually, no, top path. Because it also attacks, too, and gets you free tiers towards,
Yeah, it gives you up... tier 5 gives you tier 1 and tier 2 for free for all primary towers within its range.
Yeah. So, actually, top path, but middle, I mean, given all these other monkeys' camos, so like that is just... It's such a huge deal. It is. So... Yeah. But yeah, I'm just gonna leave it short and sweet on that one.
Okay then, I'll let you do the number 3 then.
One. Alright, number 3 is going to be the engineer. Engineer is incredible. All the paths are insane. I love it. Without even though I just legitimately did a thing, and I was doing a 40 run on a harder map, and I just used the engineer for. You use 2 different engineers for most of it. It's like you can use it just about in any scenario. It's that good. So, I big fan of it. It's just the other 2 are just better. It's once again my favorite path for the engineer.
An enemy red from battle.
Top path,
Okay.
top path, then middle path, then bottom path. Bottom path is nice because of the money, but I'm just not a fan of it. It's like I'm not a fan of just. Well, I'm not. It's not that I'm not a fan of it. I'm just not as big as I am with. Like I'm way more of a fan of the other 2. Plus, I don't like having to keep my cursor going over it over and over again unless you put someone down, like the guy to collect it. So.
Okay.
What do you think? Yours.
Well, right now we're agreeing on this, so my number 3 would also be the Engineer Monkey. But as far as the paths go, mine are the exact opposite. My favorite path of it is the bottom path, with my second favorite being the middle and my least favorite being the top. Now, as for the reasons, the bottom path is just, as far as I'm concerned, pretty much perfect, except for the fact that you have to pick up the balloon trap whenever you use it. That is very irritating, having to do that every so often. But at the same time, it gives you money for all of that, and it's only once in a while do that, and it gives you almost 1,000 income, or sometimes more than 1,000 if you have it the XXXL trap. You do it once in every so often, in comparison to the top pass front, where you have to go ahead and be constantly going over every single fucking second to pick up all the bananas. So it is inconvenient, but it is more convenient than the banana farm when it comes to it. And you can use a banana farmer to pick those up for you, so that is nice. Or you can use the nice cheat mode of it, where you could put down banana farmer, and then you have a helipilot, top path helipilot, or not top path, middle path helipilot, pick up the banana farmer and just have him going back and forth over it, and the banana farmer will be able to pick up everything within the radius of the entire path. It's an amazing thing. I don't know if you know that trick. But yeah, but that's kind of sidetracking. The bottom path, I really like it. It gets you money. It deals with balloon rushes by itself up to tier 4, and then when tier 5 pops in, it deals with balloon rushes of Moab size. The only issue with it is that it doesn't have the ability to see camos naturally at that point. If it had the ability to see camos naturally, then that bottom path by itself would have made it higher on this list for me.
Yeah.
But it doesn't, so I have to give it camo detection or two. Now, middle path. Extremely expensive. Extremely expensive. But you can ultra boost a tower 10 times and have them permanently boosted like that for the rest of the game, making them much stronger, much faster. And then you can go ahead and start doing the to next tower, next tower, next tower, and it's very good. And you can also use the tier 3 to remove camo inlet and the regrow properties of balloons. Like all these other towers, when they do support, they are buffing your abilities, while the Engineer Monkey middle path, it is able to buff your abilities and actually nerf the other blooms, makes them weaker. Having a combination of both those is very good. And then top path, I like it. It's very strong, but I fucking hate how many sentries it tosses out, making it that when I want to go ahead and click on the actual engineer, I have to go ahead and click like 4 or 5 times because there's too many sentries. And when I want to click another tower that's next to it, I have to click 4 or 5 times until I actually click on that tower instead of one of the sentries that are tossed there. The sentries are annoying to me. That's the reason why that's my least favorite path.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you want to jump into number 2?
Actually, I'll let you say that, since I think I know what your number 2 and number 1 are.
Alright, my number 2 is going to be the bananas.
Oh, then I was wrong.
I know that if you look at all my things, which one I have the highest experience on, I am one that has like 11 million, and that is the bananas. None of them are into, oh shit. Let me slow this down. Do it that way. Alright, now we're good. Sorry about that. Alright, I'm doing a magic only thing right now, but I'm gonna... So I have the most experience with it, it's so useful and everything, but at the end of the day, it's still not popping. Like, I'm a fan of popping balloons, that's when we play the game. Like, the money's great, but...
Okay, you're going to Optimus You're turning into Optimus Prime right now.
How does it sound now?
Better. There's no Decepticons, so you don't need to roll out.
Yeah. I think that I'd rather pop balloons than the money, and I think one's unbelievable, all 3 paths, and the other one is also great, all 3 paths, but God damn, this guy's something else. I don't really know how to explain it more than actually the Spike Factory is just top 3 best in the whole entire game.
No, here's what you do. Can you explain why the Banana Farm is better than the Engineer then? Because, well, you'll explain why
the amount of money you just rack in is just insane. And then you can legitimately, if you play it right on an easy, normal, hard map, let's say easy, normal, hard, easy, medium, hard difficulty on a easier medium map, you could have a tier 5 at a way 15 to 20 waves earlier than you would normally, if you didn't have them. And the Engineer is just not going to get you there. Like let's say you're doing a 100 run and you don't have banana farms, you're probably losing if you're using Engineers. But if you have banana farms, you're going to have tier 5 after tier 5 after tier 5 on that map. You're going to be in it. The longevity of your game, if you're going for a big run, there is no big 200, 300 run on a hard difficulty without a banana farm. On easy, possibly, yes, because everything's so cheap. But 200 plus on hard with no bananas, on anything harder than a medium or hard map, impossible without banana farms.
Actually, this will be something I have to mention. You know the fastest way, or the most efficient way to earn money in the game does not involve banana farms. It actually is the Buccaneers. Bottom path Buccaneers get all of them. It actually is the most efficient for earning money. It's a huge amount you can get with it. That is something that I'm still shocked about, but yeah.
Alright, do you wanna go on to more about
Yeah.
bananas, or?
I'll say this, like, Banana Farm is my number 2 as well. I'll say 1, it doesn't pop anything, but I don't expect it to. But it is, the reason why it's better than Engineer is because this is the support towers we're talking about. And of all the towers in the game, this is the best one for supporting because it supports your ability to get the upgrades, get the tiers, get the actual towers you want. And let's talk about just what I think about each path, starting with my let's start with the top path. The top path, its primary goal is produce as much money as quick as possible. That's it. You go for 5-2-0. You're just trying to earn money as quick as possible, and that's all its upgrades are for. Get more money, get more balloons, just constantly do, or get more bundles cash. That's all it's for. Every single upgrade is just get more. That's great. That's exactly what you want from it. And it does it very efficiently. Now let's talk about the middle. Oh, there is one downside to it though, and that's you have to actually pick up the cash yourself. That's the downside to it. Now let's talk about the middle path. My opinion, my least favorite path. I will almost never will use the middle path unless I'm going for tier 5. Because I don't care for the banks. It's annoying. You have to go ahead and keep track of how much is in it and then actually go ahead and pick up all the money at once it actually is maxed out. It's like, okay, you want to get money. So you have two options. Do you go ahead and just constantly pick up the money and have a constant flow of cash? Do you have the bottom path, which constantly just gives you the cash directly into your amount, which is the best option of those? Or you go with the banana or the banks, where it has it like, oh, we don't do either. We don't give you the money directly into your account, but we also don't just toss it out there so you can immediately get it. Oh, and even on top of that, we still require you to constantly pay attention to this tower, like the top path one, because you need to keep track of how much money is in here so you know when to take it out. So it's the most inconvenient one of them all, without a doubt. But once it gets to tier 5, it's just fucking perfect. Because you attach a tech bot to it. One to power that automatically uses ability, and that means every time an abilities go off, you get, if you don't have monkey knowledge, you get 10,000 cash just directly into your income every single time the ability goes off, once it's done with cooldown. If you have the monkey knowledge to increase it, it's 12,500 every single time, just constantly. You can literally ignore the money that's actually building up inside of the tower, inside the bank, and just have that constantly going. The tier 5 for it is absolutely great. But until the tier 5, it is inconvenient as all hell. But that's a lot of me talking negative about the middle path. That just shows how great the top and bottom path are, because the top path produces so much money and the bottom path produces so much money while being extremely convenient. It does have the issues that you have to get to the tier 3 in order to actually start producing more money. The first upgrade and second upgrade are kinda pointless, in all honesty, on the bottom path. But once you get to the third path, you no longer have to actually care about the bank or the monkey farm, the banana farm. It will just produce money for you constantly. You don't have to pick it up or anything. Once you upgrade to tier 4, it'll produce even more, faster, and it boosts the money earned from the merchantmen, the buccaneers, the bottom path buccaneers, so you can produce more money from them as well. And it's like, okay, that's great, but that's just earning money. It also earns you lives. It gives you fucking lives. That is something that very few towers do. And I'm pretty sure this was the first one that did it, was just giving you actual lives every single round. And then when you go to tier 5, it gives you more money than before. It gives Merchantmen even more of a boost than before. And it gives you even more lives than before. And then let's add it all together. It gains one more extra ability, thanks, I believe, not thanks to Monkey Knowledge, but just the ability by itself. It just gains it, that it will pick up the cash tossed out from other towers. So you could put a tier 5, a top pass tier 5 banana farm next to the bottom pass tier 5 banana farm, and you won't ever have to pick up the cash again. The bottom path removes the issue of the top path for you. It actually, of all the support towers, it supports its other version of itself in a way that just removes its only issue, making the top path perfect as well. If you have the bottom path with it, it all adds up very well. And then we just have to add into it, the bottom path is cheap. In comparison to all the other paths, it's actually cheap. So yeah, all that adds up to it. It is way better than the Engineer just because of how much it does. That's what I'm saying with that.
All right, and then the final one. You want to start, or you want me to start?
I'll let you start since I've been going in depth. So it feels like if I go in depth, you won't even have anything to talk about it.
Well, I don't really think there's much to talk about, but I'll go into a little bit. Actually, I'll pause this after this because I actually want to go through this one because I do believe I'm going to come out and go on a limb and say this is a top 3, if not top 2, through tier 1 through tier 5 in the whole entire game. The Tack Factory.
Spike Factory.
Spike Factory, sorry. Alright. So let me put out some of the negatives. Everything's expensive about it. Everything. Like, legitimately, the only thing that's really not expensive is long reach. To get it costs, like, what is it? $850 on easy? $850 on easy, and on hard, it's like $930. So everything's expensive. And unless you are planning on going over a wave 100, you're never going to be able to use the tier 5 super mines that's up top, which can take out the BAD is a big purple.
Yep.
Can take out a BAD by itself if you give it enough time to put down the stuff.
It can actually take out multiple.
It's just that good. It is unrealistic, but the thing is, that's why it's worth 162k on hard mode. Because I'm playing a map right now on hard, so 162k. And so it's legitimately, if you go 205, you're making it through 100 easily. If you go 5 on the first one with anything else, you're going to make it to whatever wave you really want to be honest. It's just, so I was trying to talk bad about it. It's expensive. Expensive's bad. That's the bad. Is there anything else bad?
Give me a second. Rose Smith, thank you for the follow.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I didn't even know I had someone watching right now.
No, Rose Smith, can you name anything bad about the Spike Factory? Or is it just everything about it great? That's my question. My only bad thing is expense, and even when camos come, it still is going to spit it out. It's going to spit out. It's like it has camo detection without even saying it has it. All right, good stuff. Every single tier 5 is amazing. My favorite is probably the one I never get to use, and that's Super Mines, because it's just so good. It is so good, but I never get to use it because I don't do higher than 100. I just don't. So I don't get to use it. I really do like carpeted spikes. I probably like it more, but which one is better is probably permaspikes. Permaspike is probably better, but I like carpeted spikes more. It's just I like the whole idea of just pressing the button, then all of a sudden the whole screen is covered in spikes. I just like it. So which one I like more? Carpeted spikes, but which one is actually better in my opinion is permaspike. So I would go 1, 3, 2 is which I believe is the best. Which I like best is 1, 2, 3. But and I do believe it's a top tier 1 through 5 is a top 3 for sure, if not top 1 or 2. I'm just looking to see which ones I would put. Which ones can fight with it? Any of them. I'm not going to give them away, but I'm just trying to see. There's 1. And then is there 2 that can fight with it?
Getting stronger.
It might be the number 2 of any of these. It might be the number 2 when it comes to like all the way through like 1 through 5. In my opinion. So it spanks everything when it comes to, it's like banana farms. I like them, but there isn't competition. The Spike Factory is just that, it's way better. I'll let you take over and go more into detail and everything like that now.
Okay, so first I have to mention, it is very odd that for when we're ranking a full group of towers, you and I have actually agreed in the order of which one is the best and which one's worst all the way through.
It was only 4 though.
Yeah, but still, that's 4 in a row.
Yeah, that's true.
So we did Monkey Village as worst, Engineer Monkey is 3rd, 2nd place was Banana Farm, and 1st place is Spike Factory. We actually agreed on all that. Now but then once again, we disagreed on which paths we liked the most. But just barely. I'm like, I'll agree with you that the top path is definitely the best as far as popping, but it definitely isn't my favorite. The favorite for me is definitely the bottom. And I'll just go into detail for each one. So let's talk about the top path. Let's talk about the entirety of the top path. So I'll just go. First, tier 1 top path. Bigger stacks. It literally just increases the amount of spikes it gives you. I should mention first off, the initial purchase price of it on easy mode is just 850. On medium difficulty, I believe it's 1,000, and then, or maybe it's somewhere between 850 and 1,000. It's that range. So it's an initial purchase. It is a bit expensive. It will not be your first tower that you buy. But it could be a 2nd or 3rd, and then from that point on, it's good. You're good for that. I'll say this, the Spike Factory is always worth the purchase. It never isn't. Now, let's go to the top path. Top path tier 1 just gives you more spikes. You start off with, I think, 6 spikes or 8 spikes, and then it upgrades to either 8 spikes or 10 spikes. I'm not sure the exact number. Like, that's great. It just increases your popping power. That's great. Then, next upgrade, tier 2. White hot spikes. Cuts through both lead balloons and frozen balloons. I'll be honest, the frozen balloon part doesn't matter in the slice because no one puts a Spike Factory next to an Ice Monkey. And if they do, they are insane. But the fact that just with 2 upgrades, you now have a tower at this point that can pop any balloon type. It deals damage to Moabs, but not doing extra damage, just it can damage Moabs. It can damage camos, it can damage black balloons, it can damage leads, it can damage purples, it can damage anything already with just 2 upgrades. And it does it well. Already at this point. Then let's go to tier 3, Spike Balls. Does extra damage to ceramics and fortified balloons. That is huge considering the ceramics are definitely the most annoying part of the first 40 rounds. Just dealing with those. But nice thing about Spike Balls, you get this upgrade, it will still deal with the Moab by itself. Spike Balls is enough for the Moab. Even though this isn't the one that focused on the Moab, it can deal with the Moab. And then we talk about fortified balloons. Fortified balloons are the fortifications is definitely the most difficult property in this game for balloons. And anything that deals extra damage to fortified or removes fortifications is a godsend. And this does it. This does extra damage to ceramics and fortified balloons. So you see a fortified ceramic, you know that Spike Balls will do its job. And so far, it's not horribly expensive yet. This is the third upgrade, and it's only 1,900. That is expensive, but for a tower that now can pop everything in the first 40 rounds, literally just by itself, upgrade of less than 2,000 is worth it. But then comes the next one. Now it's starting to become more expensive. Upgrade of 6,500 for spiked mines, making that the balloons will explode and that they deal more damage in general. It's very good. It's very convenient. You do this and it'll be able to take out multiple Moabs by itself. Even up to a BFB by itself. This is great. But that's pretty much it. Because you have to usually stop at spiked mines for the longest time. Because the next tier, tier 5 comes in. Super mines is way, way, way expensive. One of the most expensive upgrades there is. There are very few that are above it. Actually, rather, there is, I believe, 3 that are above it. And all of them are the Super Monkey. So yeah, Super Mine is extremely expensive. But with that being said, it is amazing. Its popping power can take out, or by itself, a Super Mine, if you place it at the end of the track, it can guarantee to take out a BAD. Doesn't matter if you deal any damage to it. It can take out that BAD. If something dealt damage to BADs before it reached it, most likely the Super Mines will be able to take out 2 of them. And that's saying something huge. That one tower by itself is possible to take out a BAD, and then if you have a bit extra damage from another tower, it could take out 2. There are extremely few that can do that. And with me saying that, those extreme few, almost all of them that I'm thinking of, are tier 6s. There are very few tier 5s that can do it. Very, very, very few. But they can't compare to the super mines usually. Or they're more expensive. Now let's talk about the middle path. But top path, it's just amazing. Every single upgrade is amazing. But they're all just making the perfect popping ability. But then it's like, okay, so top path is all about making it so it can pop anything. So middle path is all about so top path is about the quantity or the quality of the popping, making it so that it can pop any type of balloon. Middle path is about, okay, now let's do quantity. It's all about being able to pop as many balloons as possible. So the first upgrade is faster production, which increases the rate it produces spikes, so it can pop more balloons. Then the second upgrade is again even faster production, so it can produce more spikes and pop even more balloons. That's exactly what it's going for. I would highlight, these are amazing upgrades immediately, and they're both not too expensive. And just by doing this, you have a tower that can last you for a long time already. Then comes tier 3, which now it's a bit more expensive. It's more expensive than the spike balls. This is 2,100. The Moab Shredder. The Moab Shredder makes it so that the spikes that you toss out actually deal extra damage to a Moab and just crushes them. Now here's the amazing thing with it. While so far none of this can actually deal with leads, but a Moab Shredder is enough to go ahead and break a ZOMG to a BFB or a BFB into Moab or Moab into ceramics. But then you think, okay, but it does nothing to DDTs. But you can just do a top pass 2 upgrades, and now you can deal with DDTs as well, getting them to be broken as well. Moab Shredder is very useful, and it's only 2,000 for its use. It's actually worth it. Next one, in my opinion, this is actually the least useful of all the upgrades so far. Or actually of all the upgrades in general. For the Spike Factory, it's the Spike Storm. It tosses a large amount of spikes across the entire map, making it so that even if spikes have gotten, or balloons have gotten past you, you can still pop them with this tower no matter where they are. But the issue is you can't control where those spikes land, so a lot of them will go ahead and get wasted by being tossed on sections of the map that don't have balloons. And then they despawn kinda quickly. This is probably the least, or the upgrade I like the least, but I still like it because it is extremely good for getting rid of any Moab that is on top of the Spike Factory will receive damage from every single spike that sends out. So you get you have a BFB, a ZOMG on top of it, it will rip them apart. They will cease to exist. If you go and do this. Usually. You'll crush it and make it drop to the next level immediately. But if you do it with a BAD on top of it, it will deal a huge amount of damage. But of all of it, it is still, in my opinion, the worst of the upgrades. Now to tier 5. This one costs a decent amount, but as far as tier 5s go, it's about average. Carpet of Spikes. Essentially, it gives you Spike Storm, but it's doing it every 4 to 8 seconds will be a Spike Storm. The entire map will always have spikes on it. You will never have to worry about balloons again. All you have to worry about is the fortified balloons at that point. From that point on, only balloons that are fortified or extreme rushes with a huge amount of balloons constantly going could ever pass this. That's saying something. This one tower essentially makes the rest of the game easy. It is extremely good. And you still keep the Spike Storm ability, so you can still call in one whenever you want. So it does Spike Storm at random whenever it wants, and lets you use it whenever you want. Very good. But so top pass is about the quality of the balloon that's popping, increasing the quality constantly. Middle pass about the quantity it pops. And now the last one, bottom pass, actually increases the quality of the spikes themselves, making it that they last longer. So let's start off with the bottom one. Long Reach, tier 1 upgrade for bottom path, increases the range of the spikes that you can, or the range where you can toss spikes. This might seem pointless, but this allows you to put a Spike Factory away from your track. Or it allows you to toss Spike Factory or spikes over one section of track to another section of track to another section of track. It is very good. But it also has another ability that I don't feel like most people know this. Long Reach, this upgrade also increases the length of time that your spikes last. It increases their lifespan for longer already. Most people don't know that because they don't read the actual description of this. Long Reach increases the lifespan of it. Very useful. Next one, Smart Spikes, the tier 2 upgrade. It makes it so that you can actually decide where your spikes are sent. That is extreme. You can decide, I want my spikes to be tossed as early as possible, as late as possible, as close to the spike factory as I want, as far away from the spike factory as I want, or just randomly spread out. You can decide where to toss it. That is extreme. And additionally, it also makes it so that your spike factory produces, for the first 5 seconds of the round, it produces the spikes at super speed. Just toss out like 8 or 9 bundles of spikes or stacks of spikes immediately. It's extremely good. This upgrade is amazing. And it's only a second tier upgrade for only 340. It is fucking unbelievable. Then we go into the tier 3 upgrade. Long life spikes. Makes it so that your spikes can last until the next round. So all this time, all these spikes that you tossed out so far, in all 12 upgrades that we've talked about, they disappear after, or when the round ends, they disappear and they start up being tossed out again at the next round. This upgrade makes it so that they stay. So you can toss, well, let's say you have it that you have a spike factory at the very beginning of your track. And it tosses, it's been tossing out spikes, but some spikes got, or some balloons got passed. But they get popped later on. The entire time when your spike factory is not popping any balloons, it's tossing out spikes, and those spikes will stay through the next round now. So you're going to start off the next round already prepared to pop the balloons. It is extreme. It's amazing. But it's only one round. So then we go to the next upgrade, Deadly Spikes, which makes it so that now the spikes you toss out can last 2 rounds. So if you leave your spike factory there, you don't have to worry about stuff. You're going to have a huge amount of popping power just waiting for whenever your balloons actually reach it. And if you don't end up using your spike factory that round, well, it's there for next round and next round. It's always prepared from now on with Deadly Spikes. And additionally, Deadly Spikes can pop through 2 layers per spike. So like up to this point, every single one of the tacks or spikes that you ran into, they would pop just one. Just one layer at a time. Spike balls could do multiple before a ball disappeared, but it would be every single spike gets removed by one of those, one layer. Deadly Spikes, however, every single spike is related to 2. So now you just doubled up your popping power and doubled up the length of time that the attacks stay there. So you quadrupled the effectiveness of this spike factory in one upgrade. And this is a tier 4 upgrade for less than 3,000. This is still very cheap, and it's very good. But then the last one, the best upgrade of them all, is Permaspikes. Because at this point, you place down Permaspikes, you win. It is only 25,000, which is the same price for, it's an average price for a tier 5. Actually, it's below average price for a tier 5. But a Permaspike, it slows down the speed at which you produce spikes by a large amount, but every single Permaspike that's tossed out can take out a Moab. Every single one of them. And then also every single one of them can last for 10 full rounds by itself. You get a Permaspike and you toss it at the back of your map, and you give it white hot spikes, or you have it gain the ability to pop leads through a monkey village or through a alchemist, and you can actually win the game all the way up to round 100 with just Permaspikes. Just like Supermine can beat round 100 by itself, Permaspikes can as well. For 25,000 instead of 125,000. Permaspike is just overly, it's extremely cheap, and it's extremely powerful. So all around, every single upgrade in the Spike Factory is amazing. Of every single tower in this game, there's usually just like one or two that's like, I don't feel like I want that, I don't really need it. That's a kind of useless upgrade. There's not a single one in the Spike Factory that is a useless upgrade.
Correct. I agree with that 100%.
Okay, and I'll just to say, as far as I'm concerned, the best path of the Spike Factory is the bottom path because it's so cheap for what you get, and it can beat it. It's a safety net that survives for 10 rounds. It's just there. It's great. Then I'd go say the next best would be probably middle path because it's only 10,000 more than the bottom path, but it gives you so much popping power because it's tossing spikes everywhere. It deletes the option of you losing to anything that isn't fortified, a fortified rush of ZOMGs or fortified DDTs. It deletes that option of you losing. And then I'll say top path I think is the worst just because it's too expensive to get. It's just, the expense is the issue with it. That's the only thing. But it is, every single upgrade is worth the price. I should mention that as well. I should also mention, top path tier 5, when you finish putting out all these, all your mines that you can, when you toss out a new mine, it explodes the oldest mine it has. And that explosion is enough to break a Moab. By itself. It's constantly causing an explosion that can delete Moabs, just like that. So top path is worth it, but I'd still put top path as the worst one just because it does have the issue of the price. You don't get to tier 5 for an extremely long time. That's my opinion on that one.
Once again, we did not disagree whatsoever on any of this. The only thing we disagreed with is what you're saying for the bang for the buck. The bottom path is the best for for Spike Factory.
Yeah.
That's for best bang for buck. I agree with you.
Oh,
but
I should also mention one other thing.
I'm just saying in general, if you had to, like, is the top better than the bottom? Like, just in general, without the price involved, is the top better than the bottom?
I'll put it like this additionally too. I would still argue the tier 5 top path is better than the middle or bottom, but the bottom path, everything else is better than the top path, everything else. Tiers 1 through 4 bottom path is better than tiers 1 through 4 top path, in my opinion.
You're not going to get too much of an argument from me.
Yeah. But that's just that one upgrade. And then I'll add this one other thing that I forgot to mention. If you are playing Chimps mode, where you cannot produce money, and you have to, or you cannot sell towers, and you cannot use monkey knowledge, and this and that, you cannot use powers and all that stuff, there are very few towers I would suggest using in Chimps mode to pretty much be like, okay, this is a great investment, it's worth having. And of the Spike Factory, the only one that I would suggest getting would be the bottom path. I would suggest getting either a 205 or a 025 and have a Alchemist give it the lead popping power. There are very few towers I would suggest buying in Chimps mode in particular. The other one that we've gone over so far that I would suggest would be Middle Path Bomb Shooter. Those are the only two towers we've talked about so far that I would suggest buying during Chimps mode, without a doubt. And that's saying something. That's a mode that is literally supposed to be the hardest mode in this game, excluding boss events. Actually, well, depending on the map, it is harder than boss events. But those are only 2 towers in 2 of the tower groups that I can suggest for it. And that's saying something. That's saying a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so are we going to go through military and magic today, or are we going to end this here? Because we've been on at this for 2 hours and 14 minutes.
Your call. So it's either we have something to talk about tomorrow, like if there is nothing, like there's nothing other than the rewards. But you should honestly make your stream and then cut that video, just your rewards, as a separate video, just because I think people would want to know your video. Be like, and if it's like a 5-minute video of you just going over your rewards and me going over my rewards for it, I think it'll be pretty big. So, just
I will have to say something then. If you're going to do that, if we're going to do a video about the rewards that we get from the contested territory, then tomorrow, until we are playing this together and streaming, you cannot turn on Bloons Tower Defense.
That's fine.
Okay.
I could do something else on my computer, or hopefully Dad actually needs me to work.
If you want to suffer a bit while playing a game, I could suggest Chip's Challenge.
Yeah, I could do that a little bit.
It's on Steam, and it's free.
Oh, I have it, so...
Yeah.
I mean, not against that idea.
Okay, well...
Are you calling it?
Let me look at how many towers are left. There's 7 military, and I would have a lot to talk about that, and there's 5 magic. Yeah, I think I'll be calling it here for now, because I feel like that is enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll go do the outro.
Yep, sounds good.
Well then, I hope you guys enjoyed today's stream. At first we were going to be trying to show off the rewards that we got for getting first place locally for our contested territory, but the rewards did not pop up yet, so they're going to be popping up tomorrow. We'll see them tomorrow, and that will be in the next video, I guess. So with that being said, hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Let me know in the comments section on YouTube, or I don't know how you actually leave messages for me on Twitch if you can, but let me know, what is your rankings for the primary towers and the support towers? Do you agree with my rankings, my brother rankings? I'll repeat that again. For primary, I thought 6th place would be Boomerang Monkey, 5th place Glue Gunner, 4th place Dart Monkey, 3rd place Ice Monkey, 2nd place Tack Shooter, and 1st place Bomb Shooter. That was my rankings for the primary. And then my rankings for the support was 4th place Monkey Village, 3rd place Engineer Monkey, 2nd place Banana Farm, and 1st place Spike Factory. And I should mention, these were our opinions on these towers without including the tier 6s, aka the Paragons. They were not taken into account for these rankings. So let me know your rankings for the primary towers and support towers. And if you watch this on YouTube and you want to watch one of these streams live, then come watch on twitch.tv/TrueDevinGaming. It's spelled the exact same way as the YouTube channel is. And if you're watching this on stream on Twitch and you want to watch all the previous streams that I've done, or any of the previous streams I've done, then look up TrueDevinGaming on YouTube. I don't have the URL of youtube.com/TrueDevinGaming, so can't suggest that yet. It's not that clean. I'm not going to read off the entire random alphanumerical URL for it. So yeah, look me up and watch the videos there if you want to watch some previous ones. With that being said, I hope you enjoyed today's video. I know I enjoyed playing today, and till next time, see ya.